Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing the IWC Pilot's Watch Chrono Top Gun Oceana Blue. This is a chronograph in 41.9 millimeters, the first of its size from IWC to receive a ceramic case. And you can see that it is a lovely matte blue ceramic with titanium hardware, extremely scratch resistant, lighter than you would think, and quite wearable compared to other big Pilots and Pilots watches. So taking a look at the Pilot's Watch Chronograph Top Gun Oceana Blue, this is a 2023 launch. 41.9 millimeters in diameter, 15.5 millimeters thick, 52 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 20 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. I'll throw this on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see that it wears quite nicely, comfortably. It's not flat, it's not flush, and it's not thin, but jacket cuffs should be okay, and flight suits are welcome. You can see that we've got a watch that's probably pushing right out to the edge of what's viable on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist. So I do think I could wear this, but if your wrist is any smaller than mine, and I mean any smaller than mine, you're going to find this does not fit. You need another IWC Pilot's watch, maybe a Mark series piece, sized down a little. Now the color was developed in conjunction with the American company Pantone LLC out of New Jersey, famous for its color catalogs. So we've got blue ceramic case and then a strap that is a combination of blue denim with blue rubber. So the watch is a sports watch through and through. You can see this is a brand new IWC factory strap, and it's paired with a media blasted steel buckle. Taking a look at the watch itself, it's all matte finished, which I like. A huge watch should not be polished, and this media blast is a good match for the material itself, ceramic being incredibly scratch resistant. It's not quite as scratch resistant as sapphire, but we're well over 1,000 Vickers, whereas a lot of stainless steels are in the mid 200 Vickers range, so you can see the margin of advantage. We've got a little bit of an inward step of the bezel from the case flank that helps to mask the true thickness of the watch. Shoulders for the chronograph pushers. We've got a screw-down crown here. It has the IWC logo and motto Probus Scafusia, a good solid watch made in Schaffhausen. And then we've got a dial that is matte blue to match the rest of the watch, with the exception of the hands, which are blackened. So this is an instrument-style dial. It draws from the history of the BR, the Mark 11, and others to essentially mimic the imagery of a 20th century analog flight deck on an older aircraft. So you've got the look of, for example, an altimeter or a heading indicator or a rate of climb indicator. Very simple. Large white on a dark color base. The dark is matte blue. If you look carefully, they did things right. You can see the day and the date discs, both matte blue. We'll do a loom shot right here. Loomed at the corners with broadsword style hands. And then we've got a chronograph with sub-registers. So you have your running seconds down at 6 o'clock. You get your chrono minutes, chrono hours, a day and a date. The watch has a few setting modes. The first is the stop seconds or hacking function. You can stop everything and set the watch to the second against a reference time. And then there is a double quick set that allows you to cycle through the day and the date. You can also appreciate that the watch features a little stepped aperture, so there's not a sheer cut through the dial, but a step down from the dial to the discs. You could see as we turn over the minute, we have a semi-instantaneous jump with this chronograph caliber. And the watch, again, screw-down crown, 100 meters water resistant. For a long time, IWC Pilot's watches were 60. Times are changing. On the back, the U.S. Navy Fighter Weapons School. These days, I think it's called Strike Fighter Tactics Instruction, but it's the same basic program that was made famous in the 1986 American movie. And while the program itself does have logos, this logo is the one from the film. So if it looks familiar to you, you're probably not a fighter pilot, you're probably a movie fan. Now the case back features a combination of media blast and brushed details. You could see that it is 100 meters. You could see that it comes from the International Watch Company. IWC once meant International Watch Company. They no longer put it on the dial, but they put it on the case back. The movement is a caliber 69380, automatic winding with a pawl-based winding system, very similar to the IWC Peloton. It has a 46-hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate. It pivots on 33 joules. It's adjusted in a chronometer style 5 positions. And then it has a combination of a column wheel for function selection, which makes it crisper than previous 7750s. But then it also has an oscillating pinion, which is exactly like a 7750. And in fact, given its thickness and 30mm diameter, this movement was designed as a drop-in replacement for 7750s throughout IWC's line. So with the oscillating pinion, if you press and hold the chronograph start trigger, you'll find that there's almost no extraneous movement. It doesn't jump a second or two the way a lateral clutch normally does, because an oscillating pinion has very little inherent play. And that's why super premium brands are now reinvestigating and revisiting the oscillating pinion. Journe, de Bethune, Richard Mille, the oscillating pinion, always present on the 7750s since the 70s, is becoming really popular again. And again, there is a 5-position adjustment on this, which means that it is a very good timekeeper. In addition to its water resistance, it's got something that might be useful for passengers on Boeing 787 MAXes, which is explosive cockpit or cabin decompression protection. So if you are in a 787 or 737 MAX 8, I'm screwing up my Boeing jets here, and you lose a door, well, guess what? Your crystal and your seals will not eject. The watch is secured against that. What happens to the rest of you? Well, the pilot only knows, but this watch will be ready for that colossal drop in cabin pressure. Reach out if you love this watch to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.